Do you want to discuss the show while we paint, or keep it? Let's keep it spoiler free.
Yeah, I think we have to.
Okay, and then let me grab a conversation card. I'll grab that in a second. Is it live already?
I don't think so.
I think it. Well,
Oh yeah.
oh,
It's live.
oops. There seems to be two ways to start a live stream on YouTube. One of it is like to set it up beforehand, and the other is just like fuck it, let's go for it. And
Mm-hmm.
that one is the one I apparently picked, which is not the way to go. So you're gonna see the camera. Hold on your butts. As my camera, I get my camera in the right spot. So I don't want to stop it to like avoid this sort of thing because I don't know if I'm gonna have to like redo it again. It's okay. So if you're watching this after the fact, sorry, bear with me for the beginning here. Ooh, you want the okay. So let's see if I can get this.
It's like the dark side cave that Ray went to.
Yeah, she was just, messing around with streaming.
Ooh, Luminara.
I mean, I finished my Grievous pack today, so I figured I'd better work on Luminara. I've got Luminara, Barris, or the Republic Commandos, so Luminara seemed like the way to go. How's that? Does that look okay?
It's a little blurry.
Unblur.
Yeah, it's like it's not.
Yeah,
It's focusing on the desk or something.
yeah, there's not going to be much I can do about that.
Yeah.
We'll make it work. Now I got to find some reference pictures of Luminara.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what colors do you have any in mind yet, or?
Um, I was just gonna do the standard, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Let me. How do I share this?
I might be a long ways from painting mine, but I already painted a 3D printed Luminara in more or less movie colors, so I feel like I would want to find different colors to do, but I'm not sure what.
Oops, I made it
And I feel
change
like
the. Go ahead. Sorry.
I feel like she could be more colorful. I think maybe they added more colors to her in the Clone Wars, but in the movie she's like all extremely dark browns, and like there could be like a little more hint of color in there, I feel like.
Change the thumbnail for this thing. It's like defaulted to the stream details from when Bethany and I streamed Lego Star Wars, which is, not what we're doing here. So I need to make a thumbnail real quick. That's what happens when we don't plan ahead. That's my thumbnail. Sent it from my phone to the computer. Or did I? The fuck? What a thumbnail.
Yeah,
I bet it's a
I think that works.
PNG, isn't it? No, it's a JPEG. Good. Can you share that in the painting channel? Okay.
Just-
I'm ready.
That bug. I keep reaching up to my screen. That is your
What?
bug.
I have a bug?
There was there was a gnat crawling around
Oh.
on your, or I assume it's a gnat. Maybe it's some crazy Arizona poison killer bug.
We just oh, here it is. Oh, that's not a gnat. It looks like some kind of
Flying ant or something.
it does look like some kind of flying ant, which I don't care for. Oh, here it is. There's the aftermath.
Oh, yeah, yeah. It's bigger than I thought.
Not the weirdest thing I've found in our apartment. Okay, I need to find
Maybe it's
the.
a baby tarantula hawk.
Oh god. Also, my camera is obscuring my keyboard, so I'm gotta like reach around to Google Luminara. She's just, oh man, a lot of her figures are weird looking. Okay, and also this picture is strange. She looks like, I don't know how to describe it. Didn't realize her outfit from Attack of the Clones was so boxy, I guess you could say. So she's just brown with kind of yellowy green skin.
Yeah, I mean, some of the promo photos for, I guess I don't know if they'd be Attack of the Clones or Revenge of the Sith, but some of the lighting makes it look like her under skirt is like navy blue or something.
I mean, I guess that doesn't. I can just mess around. It looks like it's brown black is the main thing of
It's
her.
really hard to tell.
All the figures, it's like brown and black. I guess I could make her. Is she sleeveless in the Clone Wars? Let me look at the Shatterpoint art.
Hmm.
Oh, Shatterpoint art is
I don't think she's sleeveless.
because in the miniature, the her arms are like skin tight, right?
Yeah,
Whereas in all
her.
of even the Shatterpoint art, she's got loose wizard sleeves. Oh my god! Don't
Hmm.
focus on the wet panel. Focus on the miniature. Jesus, I don't. Do I need to get like some kind of special camera that I can control? If I could manually control the focus, you know how much that would make my life easier.
Yeah, I feel like it's so hard to tell because she has so many layers on in the live action, but it looks to me like she has like a skin tight, like top of some sort, like skin tight
Yeah.
sleeves. But
All
then
right.
her arms are going through like this huge kind of hanging drapery type coat that almost makes it look like sleeves from some angles if you can't see her arms sticking through, you know?
I guess I'll just make
Kind of a shawl.
the roby bits a lighter brown and the other tighter bits a darker brown, and that'll be good enough. Okay. I'm gonna restock my paints. There are no good looking figures of her. There's a lot of figures and they all look real goofy.
Yeah, I feel like she's a little bit of an underloved character until the Clone Wars. Like at least she got featured a little bit then,
Yeah.
but you know, even then no one really wanted to make like cool action figures of her.
I mean, I could be a little bit off the beaten path and make it look like she's, sleeveless with these gauntlets on her arms. Let me check the painting library Discord, see if anyone else has done that. Luminara. None of these samples look like that. Some of them are just too green, I think.
Yeah, I think that's pretty common with green skin. John's looks really good. I think
yeah.
he nailed the skin color.
Did you join that Discord? The MCP/Shatterpoint painting
Yeah,
library? Yeah, I find that actually really nice.
yeah, I've got it open right now. I forget to look at it most of the time, and I've never added mine to it.
I
But
like to look when, because I muted all the MCP ones and hid those channels, and then I have the rest marked as red. So like one will like trickle in a day, so it's not hard to keep up and go, oh, that's cool.
right, some of
Yeah,
these are so green.
I
It's
think
like
I'm going
goblin
to,
green.
I think I'm gonna actually make these parts of her arms just sleeveless because there's no sculpting there that would imply fabric. So that'll look like
You see
canon-ish,
more of her skin showing through. Yeah.
right? And it'll get more. It'll because she's just all dark brown. Why don't we start with that? What's a good? I've probably got the perfect colors for this, but it's also all like Ogren camo from Citadel. But this is a good starting color, I think. I bet I haven't used this color in like 3 years. Let's see what it looks like.
Oh,
Actually,
it's interesting.
what's interesting?
I mean, I do usually start with a green base for my green skin, but I highlight it up so much that not much green shows through. But I
Yeah,
do not have that color. That looks interesting.
this looks like a good-ish final color. Um, I mean, usually I might. I don't know if I have a good darker green because I usually start with a darker green and then put a. I'll start with this, then put the wash on, and then highlight up. I'm not gonna go too crazy with the skin highlights, probably, or should I? Do I have? How about all of my greens that are darker than this green somehow are like way too dark for me to want to have as a starting point. This one's okay, but it's
Kind of grayish.
defunct.
Wait, what's that one?
Lauren Forest is also done.
It looks close to the green that I have, but I don't think that was the name of it. I don't know.
Elysian green. All of my this one's just like a clump. So I won't throw that one away yet. I need to refresh my greens. I got a bunch of Deathworld Forest. I guess I'll just start with that. It'll be fine. And then I might not even need to do a wash on the skin then, since it'll start this dark. Ew,
Wow.
gooped on me. Wow, what?
Just you have some interesting shades that I have not seen.
I've had these forever. Indicated by the fact that I keep opening them and go, oh, yep, this one's garbage. How about this Nurgling green? This is. Oh, I've definitely tried to restore this one at one point because there's just like a level of water on top of a bunch of chunky gunk. You can see
Chunky gunk.
I don't know what to do with paints anymore. Again, I think I just need to try use the scale 75 or whatever. As I
I wonder if the
replace them.
Nurgling green is what I have. But yeah, I mean, a mixer has helped me a lot.
Yeah.
It can really restore some of those that have separated, and you end up having to remix them again pretty often, but it helps a good amount. It doesn't cure everything, but
I need to restock an array of greens. I used to have greens and browns were for whatever reason the ones I had like the most variety of, which is
I
always
have
really
so many
nice
browns.
because there's like I don't know, there's
Brown's really useful.
right, yeah, so many different types of leather and wood and fur that you need all these different browns for. But same with green. Ooh, I'll paint her. Is that too risque to paint her legs skin colored too? Because it sort of peeks through here. Is
I
that
don't
too?
know.
Is that too
Could
slutty? Is
be.
that too Kingdom Death?
You could always
That's
try it and then
that's
cover it up right
yeah.
away.
Yeah, I feel like I'm gonna run into a time when I need to get like a big paint resupply, and it's gonna cost me like $100 because
They've
I
definitely
haven't
gone
like
up.
bought a bunch of paint in a long time. Okay, we don't seem to have. Did you post it in our Discord?
Yeah,
I don't.
we could tweet it or something if you want.
You can. I don't have that capability with my computer set up right now.
Okay,
Wait
let
for
me
tweet with this. I'm gonna pull a card out of the deck. Actually, you know what? Give me a number between 1 and 125.
61.
61. Would you rather have a Mandalorian jetpack or a Jedi A99 Aqua Breather? Aquata Breather. Um. All right. Well, if you want, you can use that in the tweet.
Okay.
I think I'd rather have a jetpack. I live in the desert. I don't need to breathe through the water very frequently.
I mean, yeah, it depends. So we can already breathe underwater with like scuba gear. Obviously, this is way more convenient than scuba gear, which would be something. It would be
What
fun to like go swim in a lake and like basically scuba dive without
it might
scuba diving equipment.
be more of a technological revolution on Earth to have the aqua breather thing because like there's already sort of jetpacks and people kind of understand how jetpacks can what their limitations are.
The
But
jetpack would be more pure fun, like just fly around and go crazy places and
yeah, but can you imagine busting out the aqua thing and like reverse engineering it and then like selling it? Oh, I think my Luminara is missing part of her thumb.
Oh no.
After she lost the tip of her thumb, that's when she started getting a little bit more loose with the dress code. It's not a very thought provoking question, card 61. Jetpack wouldn't even like. I don't know what the top speed on that is. Like, it seems like it requires a lot more training too. Like, you can't just like strap it on and go. Whereas with an aqua breather, you just
Have it in your pocket.
stick it in your mouth and hop in a bathtub.
So, one
I've
question
changed
that I
my
think applies to both.
I've changed my answer.
Go
I
ahead.
picked the rebreather because I'm gonna get myself killed with a jetpack.
Yeah, I mean, can you even control it if you don't also have Mandalorian gauntlets? It's just the jetpack, and there's like no way to activate it. But I was thinking actually for both is what kind of fuel do they run on? Like how long would it be before they run out of charge or run out of energy, and you're like, well, this is worthless now.
I assume the jetpack has to be refueled, but I also assume that the rebreather does not
As
have
a
any.
battery.
I assumed it doesn't even have any battery. It's probably just you sucking air through some kind of filter that, or sucking water through a filter that filters out, the oxygen. Some kind of
Maybe. But then
chemical
how long before the
process.
filter has to be replaced and it's not working anymore?
See, that's why I take it to some kind of lab and ask them to reverse engineer it
Mm-hmm.
and say, "Hey, I got this cool thing. Look at me go. What if we learn how to make more, and then we can all be, start a business? Because we're all going to be underwater soon. Why not be rich and underwater?" All right, I'm going to pick another card.
1 second. Let me finish posting this so I can concentrate.
What if the second card is a more intriguing question that you can tweet out? If you were Grogu, would you have chosen to stay and train with Luke Skywalker or return to the Mandalorian Din Djarin? Why? If I was Grogu, I would have done exactly what Grogu did because I would be Grogu. So, right? If I was me in that situation, I would have been like, I don't, I'm going to need you to explain this more, Luke, because I have a fourth wall level of knowledge of this situation and it's not making sense to me. I'd be like, hey man, didn't you like your love for your dad saved the galaxy? And now you want me to pick between being a Jedi and having a dad? Rationalize that for me, bro.
I mean, I feel like I would probably end up doing the same thing Grogu did. Is I'd be like, well, I guess it's time to go to college, Dad. This is important. Get my education, learn a trade. But then after a semester, it'd be
It
like, oof, I don't know.
kind of sucks.
I was,
Yeah, just get enough knowledge to like be able to like force leap and like grab the remote with the force, and then you can go back. I mean, personally, being on Tython with Luke, not Tython. I don't think we know what planet that is. Do we? I forget. I don't remember what planet that is. That seems like a much more chill time than doing all the stuff with the Mandalorians because they are always being shot at and whatnot.
I mean, the big thing about Grogu is he has trained at the Jedi Temple, so he has high expectations. I mean, he was like obviously younger then, so like maybe he doesn't remember it super well, but he would remember it
Not
pretty
that much
well.
younger. He was only like 6 years younger. That's nothing for him. 6 years? No, sorry, it would have been more
No,
like 30
like
years.
30. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, that's a pretty
So he would,
fresh.
for him, that's probably pretty young, but still, he could have been very aware. He had some training. He was old enough to get like a little training, for sure. Like we know that,
Yeah.
right? So he would be like,
I
what's
have
this
higher standards.
campsite? I thought there was gonna be other students here. I'm the first one, and we're just camping.
I thought there would be a,
Uh,
a palace.
yeah.
I'd also be like, well, as much as I'd said I'd like to stay and train with Luke, eventually I would need to leave because I would know that it's all going to come tumbling down soon. And maybe before I did, I'd be like, you know what, Luke? If things ever feel like you messed up, just chin up, buddy. Like you're Luke Skywalker. You just remember that, and then I'd leave.
Yeah, I really wanted them to like flash forward to the end of his training, and it's like completely flipped. Grogu is teaching Luke. Luke's like, "Wow, Yoda never got this stuff with me," and Grogu's like, "Come on, this is like somewhere in the first 10 years. I think I learned this stuff." And he's like, "What years?" That would be pretty
Or
fun.
cut even farther to where Luke's school is being destroyed. And there's a moment that somehow very obviously, I don't know, I'm not a good enough writer, so this is for the writers out there. There's a moment where, had Grogu been there, it's very clear that everything would have been fine. There's like a Grogu sized hole that if somebody could go through, they'd be able to save the day.
If someone could crawl through this vent, they could restart the generator.
And prevent them from attacking. And then,
I mean, honestly, though, if Ben had a little green pal to hang out with, and it's like he's like a little walking stuffed animal, wouldn't he have like a better training time? He'd have less stress. He'd be like, you know what? I don't need to turn to the dark side yet. Grogu could convince him like, this Snoke guy is like full of shit, man. Don't listen to him. He'd be like, you're right, Grogu. Thanks for being my friend.
yeah. I just am still sort of annoyed by the Book of Boba Fett's Luke stuff. Not
Yeah.
annoyed, just confused. I don't understand it. Dave Filoni, guy who in the, I don't know, some of the, I think it was the gallery for season 2, goes off on the whole thing about like Luke's love for his father and all this really good philosophy of Star Wars and all this stuff. And then in the next thing we see, oh, Luke's like, hey, you gotta pick. Do the dumb old Jedi way or fuck off. It's like, but weren't you just telling us about how his like ability to see beyond the old Jedi way and like go papa was like one of his greatest achievements? So unless like maybe Luke just knew that was the choice he was gonna make and wanted him to like give him an out. Like he's like, oh, this guy, this isn't gonna work. He misses his dad. I better just like give him a way out.
Yeah, I do feel like there is kind of like a good point there. That there's like a point he kind of needs to focus on his training or whatever, I guess. But I don't know, the specific way that they phrased it didn't. It just felt like it needed a little more writing polish. Like it almost felt like there was like some kind of handoff that happened. Like, okay, I'm looking up the writers now to even see this, but like it feels like it was just written by different people, and then
Well, it was also, I don't know. It seems very clear to me that that was all sort of like done really hastily in order
Yeah,
to get Grogu back with Din before season 3 started. Because watching season
that's how it
3
feels.
felt very clear to me that he wasn't supposed to be back with him yet. Like, if you watch season 3, remove Grogu from every situation that Din is dealing with, and it works fine.
Yeah.
So
And
it
then just
seems
come back to Grogu like once you get back to Mandalorian, like handle it then.
right. Season 4 or whatever. It definitely feels like, the in shareholders were like, hey, um, Baby Yoda's going to be in the Baby Yoda show still, right? Even though that's not what's best for any of the characters.
Okay, John Favreau wrote it, of course.
What a
Why
chump.
did I forget that? I feel like I mean, he's written other things that were really like, didn't he
No,
write?
his episodes have been better than Dave's episodes.
Oh yeah, maybe it wasn't every
They don't
episode.
all write all of them, but I think most of them are written by Dave and John.
Okay, according to this, John wrote every episode of Book of Boba except for episode 6, which was him and Dave together. Which episode 6 was
I think that's the last
Cop
one.
Vanth. The last one is 7.
Oh, okay.
Um, Ahsoka
Then,
talks to Din. So that's the episode. Yeah, this is the Luke episode. That's the one we're talking about.
yeah.
Dave co-wrote that, and they still like messed it up somehow. I was gonna say it felt like it was written by some other person who had nothing to do with these other shows, but the fact that it was written by Dave and John
Right,
together is
and
kind of
Dave, who seems like
should know.
I don't think he knows the most about Star Wars, but I think he does know the most about the Star Wars that has been on screen, and like
Hmm.
how, especially those characters, because like I said, he had that big old, like, he knows everything about Luke Skywalker and Anakin Skywalker and stuff, and it's like, why did you go this way? What the heck is going on with this stream? What are you seeing right now?
Right now, Luminar is sitting there. You just put your brush down.
Would you see colors on it?
Yeah, I can see the green matte. I see brown paint.
Okay, because in my little YouTube preview, oh, it's like 8 minutes behind on that. There we go. Never mind. I was so confused.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. I know I'm like at least several seconds behind, but
It was like
it
eight
seems
minutes
fine.
behind. I'm like, I thought I painted that already.
It is looking good so far. I like those base colors, and I think the skin on the arm really looks good.
Yeah, I like that. Um, so the rest of the cloth, I'm gonna just make this dark brown. Her gauntlets and her little crotch cover can all get some gold accents later.
Loincloth thing. Yeah, they're kind of like bronzy, kind of
Yeah, it's like some of these figures,
brass.
it's like a green color, almost the same color as her skin.
Hmm.
The this live action picture, it's definitely like a brassy, bronzy. So I'll probably just make it gold. It'll pop more if it's just more straight up gold.
Live action too. There's like so much texture to her dress and really all her clothing that you really can't pull off on this mini. But
Yeah, I'm not.
oh well.
This is gonna be her like alternate outfit. It's gonna be like, okay, that's definitely something she would wear, but it's not what
It's
we've
like a
seen.
summer outfit.
Yeah, it's when she goes to warmer planets. Okay, picking another card. I don't know how many we're allowed to burn
Uh,
through per episode.
let's say 93.
Oh, I got my hands on 99. Hold on,
Oh, that's fine.
99. Oh wait, this is the one we grabbed from the internet that one time, so we're skipping it.
Oh, I was gonna say lucky number like Clone Force 99. Oh yeah, any Star Wars planet. Uh-huh. Yeah. Which is actually a
Um,
pretty good discussion. But
all right, here we go. If we had chat, where's the chat at?
yeah.
The Galactic Senate appoints you to learn more about an alien culture in an exchange program. Which species do you spend time with? Wait, so they just like, hey, go learn about anybody you want? What? This is a weird premise. Why not just say which aliens would you want to live with? Because like, if the Senate's telling me to go somewhere, I would assume they're going to pick a species that we don't know much about. But this is giving me the choice. So I could just say, hey, I'm going to go live with the Wookiees. And then they'll be like, we already know pretty much all there is to know about Wookiee culture. Could you pick somebody else? I'm like, that wasn't part of the premise.
Too late.
Um,
I think
so
I would pick Wookiees actually. It would be fun to like kind of go camping with them
I
and
would
like
not be into that.
kind of see it from the inside a little bit. I wouldn't be able to climb and like keep up with them, but they would probably like just tie you up to some kind of crane or something and like
I'd
carry you around in a
they could put,
backpack.
yeah, in a backpack. Go to the
That'd be awesome.
Anzellans, the Babu Frick people. Crawl on your hands and knees everywhere.
Yeah, that'd be tough.
Um, I don't even know what species I'd pick. Like an aquatic species, wouldn't like that because then I'd have to be underwater all the time.
Except you
And
have your
I would,
Jedi Aquata breather on you,
yeah,
so you're
but I would
ready.
be paranoid that it would like, break, and
Yeah.
uh, I wouldn't want a Wookiee type because I'm not outdoorsy. So I'd have to pick a well-established species with a, you know,
But what's nice about the Wookiees, unlike Ewoks, like the Wookiees do have the technology, so like you still
Right.
get to go inside and
Watch
like
your VR porn.
with Grandpa. Yeah.
um. Hmm. I'm trying to think. The Senate's counting on me.
What are some other cool species?
Rhodia sounds like it might be kind of stinky and swampy. I guess maybe Gungans. They have a cool like it's underwater, but it's not like it's like a city. It's not gonna like I can
Yeah,
trust.
you could take
I
a
can
ship to get down and then you'd be fine.
yeah. And you can just go hang out in Theed on the weekends.
Yeah, go to concerts and stuff. How about an alien species of Nabooian uh humans? They're on another planet, so they're
I mean, you
alien.
could be
You know.
like Arcanians or whatever, just a bunch of like near humans, or the oh, I forget the name of the species. The Eileen Sleazebagano, his species, the death stick guy.
Mm,
Just humans
uh
with little antenna.
Balosaurs, I think.
Yeah, I mean, if it was like, especially on Naboo, it would be a lot like when I was an exchange student in high school, where you end up hanging out and spending most of your time with fellow Americans, and
Mm, sure.
you have like, so I'd have like one Gungan friend, and the rest would just be humans that were also exchange students. Solistans would suck because they all live underground and it's hot.
I'd want to learn more about them though. That'd be fun.
Yeah,
They kind of get not a lot of
you
attention
know
in
what?
Star Wars usually.
How about Chiss?
Okay.
Because they live in totally different place, cut off from the rest of the galaxy. So that would
Yeah, so
actually,
they really need an ambassador
yeah, and they
or
would
exchange, whatever.
be like, "Hey, we're gonna learn about you, and then you're gonna like it." Or what about you know what? Maybe Ryloth. That'd be fun. I was like, who are all the sexy aliens? the z-
That's what I was gonna say. That would be like the bad answer. Like, what was it? Like Zeltrons or something that
yeah.
have pheromones.
Oh, Zeltrons have pheromones. I always just thought they were like always hotties.
I think they also have pheromones. Yeah. On top of that.
What's the best party species? Or you could
Ooh.
go like exchange with the Huts and like get like sort of sucked into the organization. Be like a human leader of a Hut clan.
I like Grease. I think his species would be kind of like fun to hang out with if they're similar to him.
Oh, the what are they called? The Latero.
Latero, yeah, yeah.
Where's Turgle from? What if everyone is like Turgle? Hmm. Before I continue, should I make her like top, which is yet another? It's not the roby part, and it's not the belt part.
Mhm.
It could be a different color. And if it were, what would color would it be? You know what? I'm gonna make it uh like a tan, like a beige.
On camera, the way the light's reflecting, it almost looks metallic, like a breastplate, which
No, it's
honestly
not
looks
sculpted to
kind of
look like
cool.
that. Yeah, it's definitely
Yeah.
like mummy robes. It's like she didn't have a shirt that day, but she had a really long strap of cloth and just wrapped it around herself.
Mhm.
I
She I think she saw Asajj doing that and she was like, "Oh, that's a pretty good look actually."
yeah, maybe like a beige would work. And I'm also out of any good beige colors. I have Screaming Skull, which is a little too light, and then I have
Yeah.
nothing. I think I'll just try and throw in some scribbling
Or,
skull.
I mean, kind of similar to tan, you could do like if you have the right colors, like a golden tan, like kind of an ochre type of color. There'd be like a little bit of color, but still kind of in the brown spectrum, you know?
Got some Averland Sunset.
Like my go-to is Balor brown, which I pretty much think of as a yellow. Ooh, that Everland looks pretty good too. Yeah. It's
Yellow
like a
would look good
nice
with her
gold.
green. We've got some
Yeah.
Ungor flesh. Look at this pot. You can see the paint just flat.
Oh my
definitely,
gosh.
definitely no flow in here. I wonder if my
The
paints
heck?
dry out faster here too. Because my wet palette
Probably.
dries out faster. Ugh, haven't opened that one in a while.
I mean, I think it seems like you have more trouble with drying out than I do.
Um,
Oh gosh. Yeah, looks bad. It's like
purple.
gray.
Okay, so purple, yellow, or beige.
Hmm. I don't know. I mean,
I'll
before
tr-
you started painting, I was thinking purple could be good, but compared to what you have right now, I don't think it would fit.
Yeah, I could try this and then make all like the filigree details on her gauntlets and loincloth be this color as well. Maybe that would work.
Hmm. Yeah, that would kind of tie it together.
We'll see. We're going off the rails here. Oh no, is this? I thought this one would have been okay. Okay, it's started the gunkification process, but it has not fully gunkified yet. It's oh no, Everland Sunset, don't do it. I need you. You're such a good color. At least my army painter paints don't turn into gunk. At least not yet. I guess
But
that.
I feel like they don't have as many really interesting shades of color. I mean, I don't have enough experience with them, I guess. So maybe they've gotten more. But
They have a lot,
you
but
know, you were showing some really interesting shades of like green and stuff that weren't like a pure green. That I feel like, at least in
yeah,
my mind, only Games Workshop has those really really interesting shades.
yeah. I've just gotten sick of my Citadel paints just gunking up on me so quickly. Can't decide if I like this or
I think so far what's on camera that's really
not.
popping.
The
That like
lighting is weird.
yeah, it's not actually in focus, so I'm not going off of much, but
Mm,
I like it. I
all
think
right,
that like matches, but kind of pops in a cool way too.
I'll stick with it. I don't know how much I'm gonna play with her, anyways. Do I want to paint all these little details now, or save that till the end? I'll probably do that later. I'm gonna put a wash on this, and then I'd have to go over it twice. I think maybe I'll highlight the yellow part first, and then put a wash on it. That way, um, I don't highlight over the wash, picking out all the little cloth bits.
Yeah. Me, I am trying to start on my what's this stupid thing called? Uh Disney Pixar Lightyear Zurg's mothership.
Ooh, are you documenting the process?
I will once I get into it. I mean, right now I'm just, um, I haven't base coated or anything yet, so I'm just trying to chop off some of the little spiky bits to get started here. I want to keep some of them, I think. I don't want to remove all of the little things sticking out, so I'm trying to decide that. But I have to start somewhere at least. A lot of these little spikes are like kind of rubbery. They're like a very soft plastic, so they're really easy to chop off.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I haven't even opened mine up yet.
Some of the bits are kind of fun. It comes with this little like 40K Space Marine style drop pod with a little droid guy in it that comes out.
I liked. Did
Kind
you
of
see the movie?
No, I haven't.
I liked the movie.
Are these guys this ship and stuff in the movie, or is it just
I think it might be the mothership. It's been a while.
Yeah, the box says mothership, but
I think that might be like
I
the
guess
location of like the final showdown.
see, I didn't know that the movie had any aliens in it. I was assuming it didn't,
They're
but I don't know.
robots.
Oh, okay.
Um, I can summarize the
Sort
plot of
of
the movie
board
for you.
like. Sure. Because I know it's the real guy that the toy was based on. I remember that. Other than that, I don't really know anything.
Either that or not like the real guy, but like the movie the toy was based on or whatever. Like
Okay.
Andy in Toy Story maybe watched this movie. They Star Command is like I think that their ship crashes on a planet and then they're stuck there trying to make a base and then they're then trying to get off the planet. They're the planet has some kind of they've got to like escape the atmosphere and then make their like hyperdrive work or whatever. They've got some kind of fast engine they need to make work. And Buzz is the test pilot for this ship, and he keeps failing to like make the jump or like go fast enough. And then basically one day, it does go fast enough, and he makes like his 30-second burn at like bonkers speed or whatever, and then comes back. And when he comes back down, like 25 years have passed or whatever.
Sure. Yeah. That's cool. That's cool.
And so like all of his friends are either old or dead, and like the children of his friends are there, and everything is like run down and like there's like a danger. There's like now these robots that keep attacking them, run by Zurg, who keeps like trying to find something. I forget. There's like some MacGuffin type thing, and then it's good. And at the end, there's a fun twist where you find out that Zurg is an older version of
former.
It's an older version of Buzz Lightyear, who also had some sort of like time mix up by going fast, and then like came to the realization that he could just fuck around with time and do what he wanted, and like sort of basically like had the same mission as Buzz, but like decided to do it in a different way that was less ethical.
Yeah, I was gonna say it seems like the natural place to have a twist in that type of time shenanigan scenario. Oh, I wasn't thinking a version of him. I was thinking like, oh, it was his former commander or some such thing.
Yeah.
When he abandoned them, they had to do whatever they needed, whatever they could to survive or something. But I mean, the way you describe it sounds cool. Sounds
actually,
a little more interesting than I realized.
He doesn't. Sorry, I misremembered something that was. Every time he does that test jump, he skips ahead in time. It wasn't an accident. They knew this was going to happen with the speeds he's trying to achieve. So every
Mm-hmm.
time he lands after a failed test and comes back to base, like a year, 5 years have passed. So his friends are like having lives and moving on, and he just comes home, goes to sleep, wakes up, and skips another 5 years trying to like get this thing to work, which was cool because there's like a montage of like him seeing his like best friend like get married and have kids as like a week has passed for him.
Yeah, that sounds kind of interesting.
And he has a robot companion cat named Socks.
Sounds like it goes hard a little bit.
Time for
This long. We need to
some
figure out what to do with this ship, though.
washes.
I want to like not just do the ship conversion here, but like I want to find uses for some of these extra pieces too, including like the little droid guy. Like I feel like I could like break him into pieces and stick him onto some train like a broken, because he's like almost the right size to be like a Star Wars droid. He's not quite as big as a B2, but he is like, he looks like he could be a Star Wars droid if you repainted him. And some of these other pieces, I feel like, you could make like wreckage or
Do you think
I
you
don't know,
could just
something with them.
it wouldn't like stick onto the core box terrain in any way, would it?
Maybe. I don't know.
Okay, I'm liking the what I did with the yellow. I think that works.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I want to put much of a wash on that.
Um,
Maybe I'll thin it.
yeah, I could see a
I
little
do.
Agrax being good.
I was gonna use Casadora yellow.
I don't know that one.
It's just yellow wash. I have, I think, all of the wash
Oh.
colors. It's pretty nice to have
Yeah, I've
washes.
never used that one. I don't have that.
After you like graduate from like only using Nuln and Agrax, you're like, oh, this actually is really nice to like, because the Nuln and Agrax, if you're putting it on things that aren't brown or black, it'll make those things browny or blacky. So it's like
Yeah.
it's nice to have be able to add that depth without changing the tone of the thing. All right, you ready for this one? You know what? I'm gonna save that one for when we. It's too good of a question. We need actual
Okay.
participants in chat. Which Star Wars character would you want as your ship's co-pilot?
I mean, I immediately thought Chewbacca. Did we do this one? I feel like we maybe did this one.
I feel like did we not have one that was like your
A
best
similar
friend?
one. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I think we had
I
best.
think Chewbacca would be good. I think
Yeah,
R2D2 would be good.
Chewbacca would be hard to top. Maybe I'll pick Chopper.
I mean, I like Chopper as a character, but actually, being on a crew with him, I think would be rough. I would want someone more like reliable.
um, what about like a good pilot? Would that be annoying? Like, would they get annoyed that they're a better pilot than you? Like, it would be reassuring to have someone like Hera as my co-pilot, but like, would that eventually have a bad relationship because they're like, why am I not the pilot?
I think I would probably be. I mean, I would be annoyed by like a hotshot pilot type. So any co-pilot I got would have to be someone who would be okay with, you know, not being the main pilot anyway.
How about L3, co-pilot with benefits?
Again, I like her as a character, but I feel like, she seems like an annoying roommate who like is like staying up late and bringing people over, and I'm like, Okay, I really just want like a quiet ship to live on. She's like, I guess she's not drinking. Maybe they drink oil or something,
Yeah,
right?
whatever they drink in that episode of Mandalorian.
Yeah.
I don't think they
She's bringing
drink
other
it. They just.
droids over. They're like waking me up. Would be some other good ones? I feel like Lebo is a pretty good
I don't.
co-pilot. I don't really know much about his personality, but
Yeah.
I might get along with him better.
I'm trying to. I guess there might not be any Star Wars characters I can think of myself like really getting along with in a co-pilot relationship because those kind of people maybe are boring characters.
Yeah.
um.
A2, he'd be a good co-pilot.
Yeah, K2 would be.
K2SO.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have a
He's like
sassy.
kind of funny,
Yeah,
but he's also very capable.
and he's reliable. Ugh, I got that big old seam in the thing here.
Yeah,
It's not going to be
it'll
able to do
start
anything
showing up
about.
with the wash.
Yeah. Oh well. Luckily, it's like right under her saber arm, so it's kind of hard to get a good look at. Maybe some kind of Jedi would be a good co-pilot.
Hmm. I mean, I feel like, I mean, Obi-Wan is cool. He's nice and funny and stuff, but
He probably knows where all the good bars are too.
hmm. I feel like Plo Koon would be like the least insufferable of a lot of Jedi, but he still wouldn't be that fun, in the end. You'd be like, oh, this is a nice co-pilot, but you might kind of get bored hanging out with him too.
I'm wondering if this yellow wash made it too yellow. It actually sort of intensified the yellowness of this area. My lighting is not helping extreme. You like that? Is that in focus?
Catching up here. Uh, God. Yeah, it definitely does look more yellow,
Yeah,
but I think I think it looks good. It reminds me of like a yellow silk. I can't think of the word. That'd be samite or something, but I think it looks good. Samite. What am I thinking of? Saffron?
it's not a spice.
Yeah, but it's a color too.
Nobody's on our stream because they're all watching Ahsoka.
Yeah, probably. Which means we can talk about spoilers. No, that's fine.
That's the only explanation why somebody wouldn't be watching us.
Yeah, I specifically tweeted no spoilers in our stream announcement tweet. I said no. I said like Ahsoka spoiler free or something. So we don't have to do that. But I really want to talk about it because it was really exciting.
Yeah, I really liked it, and it also raised a lot of questions and made me go,
Yeah, I liked
Definitely
so much about it.
a lot of things that are gonna, you know, this could have a real cool payoff, or it could be not cool.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Like it felt like a very strong start, but it's like they could really flub it after this. For my tastes, if they focus too much on cameos and such things, and I could end up finding it annoying after these episodes, maybe, or it could be extremely cool. Like, what if they blew all the really cool stuff on the first couple episodes, and then it's kind of dumb after this? Could happen.
Okay, got all my washes down. Gotta let them dry a bit. I need to prime my Ewoks. What's the weather like? Should I prime in the morning? Gonna prime in the morning. Stop it. I'm trying to click on the weather, not my calendar. At 7 a.m. tomorrow, it'll only be about 80. So yeah, if I actually manage to get out of bed, I should be able to prime something. We're going to Disneyland in November, I think.
Ooh.
We've been so ever since we moved here, we're like, oh, we should go to Disney because it's within driving distance. Not
Mm-hmm.
my type of driving distance because it's still about 7 hours, which is
That's doable, at
right,
least. It's like one day.
right, and it's not, you know, being able to drive there. It would be really nice because you don't have to worry about flying with any of the junk you buy.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't. So ever since we moved here, we're like, let's go, and then we're like, maybe next year, and then we're like, maybe next year,
Yeah.
and then finally this year, we're like, okay, let's go in October, and then I started using a budget app. So I'm like, okay, well, we need this much money by October, so it's telling me, okay, you got to set this much aside every month, and that's been really helpful. And then I told my friend we were thinking about going. She's like, oh, well, I know somebody. Well, I have a friend who like plans Disney trips for free
Okay.
because she's like it's must be I can't imagine it's her full-time job, but she must be paid by Disney because she's basically a travel agent for Disney where she can like plan your trip and find you like the best hotel bookings and get all your reservations made and knows all the ins and outs and all the little tips and stuff. And she'll set that all up and make all those bookings for you, and it doesn't she doesn't have a fee or anything because Disney will just pay her if she sets it up.
Wow.
She'll be, I'm sure Disney says, "Oh, you just booked a
Kind of referral.
right, like you set up this 3 night stay. These suckers are paying us how much money? Here's a kickback from that or whatever." So it's really nice because she obviously knows everything there is to know and can help us. We were talking. We moved it from October to November because most of the things the reservations go up 60 days in advance. So if we want to build a lightsaber and go to the cantina and all this stuff, we need to make those reservations 60 days ahead of time, which is happening right now for when we were originally planning on going. So they're already like starting to sell out. So we're like, oh, we'll just go to push it back. So it's really nice to talk to her. I'm glad we were referred to her because, she's basically going to be able to help us plan our whole trip and we don't have to pay her anything.
Yeah, that sounds like a great way to do it. Eliminate a bunch of the work, a
Right.
bunch of the unknowns.
Yeah, and we're planning on going to Universal to go to Harry Potter stuff, and like, even though she's like a Disney person, she knows about that and can help us like factor that into our plans, even if she's not able to like book it for us directly. She can help us figure out the best stuff. I think she said she was gonna email us back, but I'm excited because I've never been to Disney.
At all, ever?
No, never.
Wow.
So that should
Yeah, that'll
be
be fun.
fun. I think we're just gonna do the one lightsaber. So like Bethany can build a lightsaber and I'll watch. And then, because I've been planning, I figured, oh, I'll just get uh, one of the legacy lightsabers. Because I
Mm-hmm.
already have, I did buy like the Hasbro fancy ass Obi-Wan saber recently. And then if they still have the yellow Ventress saber when I'm there, that's what I'll buy. Because that's one of my favorite
Yeah.
lightsabers. And so I'm like, okay,
Ooh,
well, I'll
what?
just do that. And then I'll watch Bethany like build a lightsaber because also I think the build your lightsabers are a little chunkier than the other ones.
Hmm. So what color of brown is that, by the way? That looks really nice.
This brown, the lighter one,
Uh, yeah,
that's
the lighter one, the one that
more
you have open.
Mornfang brown. That's kind of my go-to
Oh,
brown. It's sort of a red
okay.
brown.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites. It just didn't look the
I
same
kind of
on screen, I guess.
want to buy more Rhinox hide because I replaced it for this army painter oak brown, which is a really dark brown. But I think Rhinox hide is even darker, and I've found myself at times wishing I had it. All these like replacement army painter ones, I'm like, I kind of miss the Games Workshop one. But also, it's just like, but none of these army painter ones have like died on me. Some of them I
Mm-hmm.
are like annoyingly thin, which really bugs me. Especially some of like I have an orange that to me is almost unusable how thin it is all the time.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah, because
like,
you can't really thicken something up. You can always thin a thick paint down, but thickening a thin paint is, I don't think there's a way to do it. Maybe there is. If it's too
yeah, and
watery,
it's so
it's
hard to
hard.
apply. And I never had. There was never a Citadel paint that was like that. I did. I don't remember why at this point because I moved on so long ago. But I hated the Citadel's white paints. I really like the Army Painter white compared to that. It's been so long I don't even remember why I like swore them off. Weird. Her skirt has got a lot of really flat areas. I'm gonna have to. I don't know if my highlights are gonna look good here or not. So it's gonna be sort of a definitely gonna be a lighter brown than standard Luminara. I think when I'm done with all these highlights. It'll have such a cool Luminara. People be like, "Whoa, what episode is that from?" I'd be like, "Episode me. I made it
My
up."
brain. As far as like creative Luminaras, there's like one dark side Luminara on that Discord.
Mm-hmm.
That one looks pretty cool.
Yeah, that one looks really nice. Might be fun to have a strike team. I don't know how well they'd work gameplay wise, but just Luminara, Barris, and Anakin and Ahsoka,
Yeah.
and then just like when Anakin or when Ahsoka and Barris like get wounded, Anakin gets mad and Luminara's like,
hmm
it's just these things happen.
One of the people that I've played Shatterpoint against, that was a new person I haven't played any games with before. Every single time I've seen them in person, they've gushed about wanting to make a list like that, like for that same episode.
Nice.
Like every time they keep explaining the list to me and explaining the episode to me, I'm like, yeah, yeah. Maybe I'm too polite to them, but they're really obsessed with it.
Are they
It's funny though because
young? Are they Clone
um
Wars age?
well, yeah, I guess so. They're an adult, but yeah, they would have
I
been a
mean,
child at the
oh
time.
wow, that's something.
Yeah. Young people play games too.
I wonder how many
Yeah, like
people
a college age
play.
person, I think.
I wonder how many people play Shatterpoint who haven't watched the show. Like, because these characters aren't exclusive to the shows. It's Star Wars. They were in the movies first for the most part. But I wonder how many people like play this and don't know anything about the characters. Nothing wrong with that. It's just kind of strange.
It would be surprising.
Because like with Legion, everybody has seen the movies, which is where those things are from. With Shatterpoint, the number of people who have watched the Clone Wars, as popular as it is so much smaller. But I wonder, maybe that's a different
There could
number
be some.
when it comes to tabletop gamers.
I think the interesting thing too is like for that specific list, I think we're kind of lucky that we ended up with the early copies of like Padawan Ahsoka, you
Mm-hmm.
know? And I don't know, it seems like I don't know how many copies of those there were, I guess. They gave me one without me even like asking for it. So I felt like they had a lot, but it seems like a lot of other people did not end up getting one, so they're waiting for that Plo Koon pack, which is
Yeah,
not till I don't know, probably like December or something at this point.
I think the store I got mine from only had 5. Luminara almost looks like she has like a bow tie, like a really big bow tie. Like I could have painted it's it's brown on here, but if I'd painted it like bright red with polka dots, it would just look like a big bow tie.
Kind of an amulet thing, if I
No,
understand what you're talking about.
above that. I Right now it's painted yellow. That thing you're talking about, I'll change it later. It's the
The
brown
little
right above, right
circle.
b- below her neck and above the yellow. That shape is like a huge bow tie that is covering her shoulders.
Oh, I guess I would call it like sort of a shawl or something.
Yeah, but it's like slightly disconnected from the like flappy sleeves that I'm not quite sure what's going on with her sleeves.
I like the idea of having a giant bow tie that's so big that you can like drape your shoulders with it to stay warm,
Yeah,
or like wrap it around like a scarf if your neck's getting cold.
it's practical bow tie. Hmm.
I'm having so much trouble with this. I'm just trying to break off this piece that's on the inside of the ship. It's like a little like nuclear reactor looking thing, but it's like attached so good I can't get it to pull off or cut off. And I don't want it to take the whole ship apart to get this little piece, but I'm not getting it. God, it's hurting my hand.
Is it something you can't like slice out easily?
Not at the angle it's at. I've been trying to get my knife in there, but I can't really get it under.
Is it at the top of the ship? Is it going to make like standing on it difficult, or just a thing you don't
Um,
think looks cool?
it's inside the um, not the complete tips, but it's inside the one of the two forks that's sticking forward.
Oh,
There's like these chambers in there. I swear it's like a nuclear reactor or something. It's kind of what it looks like, but yeah, I think I don't know if I can get it without unscrewing the whole ship apart and then
you also need
accessing it from
to
below.
think about how tall it is. So I think it
Hmm.
might come under 3 inches if you lay it flat. I don't know if it has some. Like you might need to mess with the landing gear
Good
to make
point.
sure it hits elevation 2, or just it's at a
Yeah,
different elevation than the ground.
that's a good point. There's kind of two little front landing gear that unfold. Oh yeah, the example you had found does still have those landing gear. It's interesting because they're only at the front, so the back is like tilted down compared to that when you have those out.
Hmm.
But I think if you did not have them, it would also kind of it would sit like way too flat. It would look bad too. So I guess I could chop them down a little bit if I needed. And it feels like it needs a landing ramp too,
Yeah,
because
does
there's
it?
these like circles on the side that look like a kind of like a
Well,
hatch or whatever.
Shatterpoint scale. Does it look like a character could fit in it? Like, is it like a single person ship?
you know, it might not quite be tall enough, honestly, for that. I think a person could fit in the back near the engines. That's the tallest part. I could maybe grab a mini insert. I don't think a person could. I think the front, like if you're going inside the forks to crawl around, it would be like a crawl space for
Maybe it's
Shatterpoint at least.
a droid. The ship is just a droid.
Yeah, you could definitely like send a mouse droid around in there. Okay, just the closest mini I had to hand was Kraken.
That's a
He
good one.
definitely could not stand up in the front part of the ship. I think he could barely stand up in the back. Maybe you lay down when you pilot it. Maybe it's like a
Recumbent
maybe you don't have to.
ship.
Yeah, I mean it's like an X-wing cockpit. Maybe like you just kind of sit down and you don't have to stand up. Maybe.
That works. Yeah, you couldn't stand up inside any. So it's like more like a fighter, but like a.
Yeah, it's like almost like a light, heavy fighter or a light shuttle. I guess I don't know.
It's
Just
just
based
like
on the scale.
some kind of industrial cargo shuttle. Like strap stuff underneath
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I guess I had it in my head that it was bigger like Falcon size, but actually holding a mini next to it, I bet it isn't much bigger than an X-Wing at that point. If I had an X-Wing that was to scale, I bet it would be longer than I'm thinking, and it would probably be pretty close in size to this, lengthwise. It's obviously wider than the front of an X-Wing. Okay, so that makes me think, yeah, it probably would not have a ramp, but it feels like it needs a cockpit. Like I need to maybe add a structure to the top middle. It seems kind of beyond my skills, but it feels like it's what it needs, like a little bubble cockpit or something, you know?
Yeah, would that interfere with minis being able to stand? Because this could have a pretty flat surface, right? That's sort of the appeal of this thing.
Um, the two arms are pretty flat. The middle part where most of the stuff sticks up is extremely not flat. So I mean, if you did it right, adding a cockpit could like actually make that flatter. Uh,
Yeah,
if you knew what
I
you were
just
doing.
grabbed mine. It looks like it's got like a carrying handle, like the
Yeah,
droid.
I'm not gonna add that for sure. I have seen. I saw another picture of one that someone had painted somewhere, and they left maybe it was on that painting Discord, and for that one they did leave the handle on, which I thought looked weird. The original one you posted basically took off absolutely every extra piece,
Yeah, I think
including some cool ones. I think.
to me it looks like it would definitely be sort of planned as like some kind of some kind of industrial ship, some kind of like cargo hauler, even something like that. Like even if it's just like an atmospheric thing where it's just carrying cargo around shipyards. It's kind of what it looks like to me, at least at,
Yeah,
at the scale.
yeah, because with the two prongs, that reminds me of the Falcon. It reminds me of like an AT hauler or something, right? Like, I feel like you could have small crates that you would pick up between the prongs and then go take somewhere.
I feel like I'm being kind of sloppy with this. After painting and playing with all the droids, I'm like, do I even give a crap about the Republic units?
I want to do some of them for sure. Like, I do really want to do my Luminara pack and then play with it.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of want
I
to.
don't know that I'll paint like Anakin. I don't know.
Well, I kind of want to get all of them and paint all of them, but at some point, maybe that's going to be too big of a task. The Cad Bane pack is definitely jumping to the front of my queue as soon as I get my hands on that.
Yeah, I'm excited to paint him. Excited to paint Padme, although,
That
she will be
seems
like tough.
challenging. Yeah. Seems really hard.
It'd be fun too. I think, I don't know, it depends. It's like hard to hold yourself to like movie standard on those, but I don't know. I think they could be fun too.
Yeah, might just come down to some good wet blending for the handmaidens.
Yep. I think there'll be ones, for me at least, that I'll have to just kind of see what happens and then be like, well, it's not really quite the movie, but it kind of looks cool in its own way is the best I can do, maybe. It's my like best hope. Do some kind of wet blending and live with it even if it doesn't seem perfect.
Good enough is usually my painting motto.
I mean, I always tell myself just good enough. I'm always like, I want to go faster on this one so I can get done with it. Uh, and then in practice, I end up getting perfectionist along the way.
Yeah. This one, I feel like I'm just not feeling this one. Did I? Yeah, I put a wash on it. Just I've done 3 rounds of highlighting, and I feel like there's just no depth in her robes right now. We've got to go further, which means I need. I'm noticing shortcomings in my paint library. So I need to throw in some of this ivory now just to lighten up my brown. I used to have more light browns. No, that's way too light.
Uh, I don't know. I mean, sometimes a really light highlight can really pop.
Yeah, but I'm not at that point yet. I just need to.
Yeah.
Well, we'll try that. My brush keeps messing around. Eh, maybe this can just be the final level of highlight. Dang it, brush. You know what? I'm gonna bust out a new brush. If I have a decently sized one. These all kind of look too big. Is there like a brush subscription service?
Probably.
Give me a new brush a month. That would be nice. Could just call it brushy brushy.
I mean, that would be a great sponsor to get if they existed. Podcasts love their monthly kit things, but then this would actually be related to our topic, you know?
And useful.
Like there's why can't I think of the name of the big meal one?
There's HelloFresh and
HelloFresh.
this is a
Yeah.
pair of those.
If they could expand into non-meals, Hello Brush. I don't know.
My brushes always fall apart and I don't take care of them. And I'd rather just get a new one than try and do maintenance.
I feel like mine have been holding up better lately on average, just because I've been doing less dry brushing for my highlights. Which, you know, I never would do that with my detail ones anyways, but still, whichever ones I was doing it with, I would go through quickly. And I haven't had to buy any new ones in a while since I haven't really been doing as much dry brushing. So it makes it feel like I'm taking care of them. And there's all kinds of soaps and oils and special techniques and tools and things. I
Oh,
don't know
yeah.
how many of them actually do anything.
I don't got time for that.
If you use code Jodo at checkout, you will get a free 4-ounce bottle of brush oil with your order of $800 or more.
I don't remember what it was for, but I was listening to a podcast and there was an ad for something where the discount code gave you 50% off, but then they said something where basically that 50% caps out at $10 off. It's like,
Okay.
so
Weird.
whatever. Maybe I'll make the trim on her little headpiece gold too. Some real janky highlights on this side of the dress. What do I got to cover the entire background in order to get you to focus, camera?
Seems like it. No, I feel like those are looking
When
pretty
it's out of
good.
when it's out of
Yeah.
focus and they're fuzzy, they look like they're blended. When the focus comes in, it's clear that they just kind of look like brush strokes because I jumped up from dark to light so starkly.
Mm.
It wasn't enough of a transition. Maybe I can.
Well, there's still time to touch them up.
That would require effort, though, and the caring.
I would say I have time for one more conversation card.
Okay. How about you can give Grogu one toy from our galaxy. What do you give him and why?
Okay.
Uh,
My first thought is a Grogu toy, just to like cause psychological damage to him.
That's pretty good. My first thought was a BB gun.
Oh no. Yeah, do you think they let him keep those cool dart launcher gauntlets that he got to train with?
Cool dart
Does he
launcher
still have one?
gauntlets. I think cool is the wrong adjective, but
They would be cool to a kid.
those kids were such. I felt bad for those kids too.
Brats.
Also, their armor looks so dumb. I don't think Grogu gets to keep anything except. Remember when she made him like a dinner plate to wear, and he's like, "Oh, cool, I get armor," and then it was the Chekhov's gun that never fired.
Yeah, I don't think it would help him very much because anything that would hit him would send him flying
Yeah,
no matter what.
it's not Captain America's shield rules where it like can dissipate all, you know, physical impact when it feels like it. Like it's still you still get knocked around. It's more just
Yeah.
like bulletproof vest rules. Well, nothing penetrated your skin, but you still got hit with a bullet.
Yeah, I mean, it would still help for like shrapnel, I guess, same as like a lot of army equipment. It's like, well, at least these random shards of, I don't know, whatever, wouldn't shred his body to ribbons. I mean, it feels like if you really want good armor, like why not get a force field, like a electro shield type thing?
Why? Okay, so everyone's favorite video game, Star Wars Hunters, that everyone around the world plays.
Uh,
If you recall, there is one of the characters is an Ugnaught who has a droideka that he drives around. He sits
oh
inside it.
yeah,
It's like got a
I forgot that.
That seems like way better idea for Grogu than IG-88 mech suit because the Droideka could have the bubble shield.
Yeah, that would be awesome. And then
And
you wouldn't be walking around in the dead body of
of
your
that's
nanny.
so weird.
That was still just like such a strange aspect of the
Because
season.
because tinfoil hat here, they were like, how the heck do? Because we wrote all this stuff and we can't take it back, but we have to accommodate Grogu's presence. How do we do that? Like, I guess let's throw in an episode about making a mech suit for him so he can keep up on this season's adventures.
And then immediately forget about it for like several episodes.
Yep. Because it's not necessary. We don't need it for these episodes. It'll be there when we need him to be able to keep up with mobility.
Yeah, I mean, again, it almost feels like the type of thing that was like a change made later where they're like, okay, all these middle episodes are done. We can't really add any droid stuff into the planet with the Ugnaughts or crazy droid builders or whatever. Those are already done. But we can update the first or like last episode. Can we fit it in somehow? If we like add it in at the last second. I don't know. Such a weird season. I feel like I did not dislike it as much as Book of Boba, but I also didn't love it as much as Book of Boba. You know, like I feel like Book
You're
of
saying
Boba had
you.
higher highs
Oh,
and lower lows.
yeah, yeah, definitely. I agree with that. The Book of Boba Fett, I don't think I could call it one of my favorite shows, but it's got some of my favorite episodes. Basically, the beginning and
Yeah.
the end of that season, just phenomenal. And then like the middle is just kind of like, what's going on here, guys?
Yeah. There's a lot of strange stuff, but then like a few really cool scenes like mixed in. I loved I think it was episode 2, the Tusken Raider episode so much.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, and then they killed them all off and etc. But like that one episode, I guess
It's
other
just
people
like
don't like it, but for me, I loved it. It's like hard that that fits in with all this other weird stuff that didn't quite work.
also just they could have just had Cad Bane from like season or from like episode 2. Like they clearly wanted to go,
Yeah,
guess who it? Oh, it's him. And like I really, had a moment there, but like you could have just had that moment in episode 2. Like what if Cad Bane was the guy who killed all the Tuskens? And now you
yeah,
have, because there's not really a villain. That show doesn't have a villain. Not every show needs like a villain, but it helps with Star Wars and with Boba Fett. You've got that there, and they have a history that they vaguely reference in the show. Why not like flesh that out for us a bit more with more time? Just
yeah. I'm honestly surprised they didn't flash back to young Boba and show that duel from that episode that never
right.
got made.
Yeah, I was expecting that, or have some kind of also some like line with Fennec because Fennec kicks his ass in Bad Batch. As we're seeing with
Oh
this
yeah,
with the Ahsoka show, like it's cool to like reference things that happened in animation.
yeah. Feel like so much of Book of Boba's problem was that like it just feels like they crammed so much into one season. I feel like the flashbacks confused a lot of people, and I would have just enjoyed it if the whole season was just
It's still not.
set before Mandalorian. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's also still not clear to me um
Like how
how
much time?
long he was in the stink hole.
Yeah,
Like
yeah. The
I
math
would,
doesn't feel like it adds up.
because Mando is 5 years after Return of the Jedi, so was he in there for 5 years? Like because he's interested in getting his armor back, but if he was out more or less immediately, how did he not know Cobb Vanth had it? Like, wouldn't he have just retrieved it earlier? So like,
Yeah. He was either in the Sarlacc for 5 years, almost, or he was a slave of the Tuscans for almost 5 years,
right,
or he was a full Tuscan member for almost 5 years, or
right,
he was walking around in the desert for 5 years. And none of those feel like they add up.
yeah. And if he of all of
Or even
those,
like 1 year each doesn't even feel like it fits either.
yeah, like I guess that feels a little better 1 year each, but like maybe I'd say he's in the Sarlacc for a year, he's a slave for like 2 months, and then he's with them for like 2 years. But then like I don't know, I would like to see him and Fennec's story continued with them deciding to let the mods and Black Chrysanthemum watch over the city. Because like at the end of the last episode, him and Fennec are like, maybe this isn't for us. Because the whole show is him sort of being like, wait a minute, I don't know if I want to be this guy anymore because that's how I ended up in this pit. And then he's like, maybe I'll try and not be violent, and that doesn't work for him. So like he keeps like sort of overcorrecting in how he's like changing
Yeah.
who he is, which is they could have been a little more explicit about that. But it's okay, cool. Boba Fett's trying to. He had some time to reflect as he was being digested, and now he's trying to figure out what his deal is. Uh, I just maybe okay. That's ruling a city's not what he wants, not what he's good at. But he does have some sort of newfound interest in like the common people's plight. I guess it seems for whatever reason. And maybe him and Fennec can just go be the Punisher in space. Just go around and take out other crime people, or do what Maul did and like try and take over all the crime people, but like do it with more altruistic motives. I don't know. Curious to see where their story goes if we get more of it, even if it's just in a should be in a comic. I always think Boba Fett is at his best in comic books.
Yeah. I feel like even though it feels like improbable, like it's hard to explain how it would work, but I wish they just had committed and said like, yeah, he was in the Sarlacc for years, and then like
Well, that's
have to come up with an explanation, because that's what I always thought when I was a kid, right?
well, I
You'll
think
be
that's what it
digested for a
was in
thousand
the
years.
yeah, exactly. Like in the first books I ever read were Boba Fett surviving the Sarlacc type books, like the Bounty Hunter Wars trilogy, Tales from Jabba's Palace, Tales of the Bounty Hunters, all those. And that's how it is in those books. Basically, if your lifespan is 100, guess what? You get to live to be 1,000, and you're going to be digested the whole time. Because
Yeah,
it,
I want
it
them
it
to
like
like
sort
just
of
go there, go weird with it.
and those books were weird and cool because basically he was in the pit for a long time in Legends. It dissolved his leg, but his armor like prevented him from getting more serious damage. That's why he could get out because of his armor. And I think it sort of like it keeps you alive, so it can like slowly feed on you over a long period of time because it's like a harsh environment thing that likes to have food. Um, Although maybe we'll get something in the new certain point of view book because it sounds like the Sarlacc just wants to make friends and is sad when people just show up just to throw people in his mouth. In Legends, it was like sort of telepathic and had absorbed like the consciousness of a Jedi it had eaten like
Wow.
thousands of years ago. Like a Jedi had fallen in by accident or something, and it like took on their like personality, like it was like whispering. So it had like in addition to physical torture, it has like psychological torture, like whispering into your mind, like telling you to give up and just like let it eat you and this sort of stuff. Because I think Boba Fett was like having sort of a battle of wits with it as he was being chewed on, or
Yeah.
just kind of acidified, just digested. Then in Legends, when he got out, he had he had to get a new leg. That was one of the things in Legends. He found Tanwi, I think, one of the Kaminoans. He finds and is like, "I need you to clone me a new leg," and they're like, "Can't you?
Oh,
You don't want a
okay.
robot leg?" He's like, "No, I want a me
Except like 30 years younger.
leg."
Oh,
Baby
we have someone
leg.
in chat actually.
Oh, hey, it's Imperial Buckethead from last time. How's
Yeah, welcome
Luminara
back.
going? He says I just joined, but that could have been, 20 minutes ago because I haven't looked at chat in a while. I am ambivalent about Luminara. I am doing a slightly altered paint scheme. Also, my camera's focus. Well, there we go. We got some focus. Oh no, focus went away. Painting her sort of sleeveless, which is a little different, and I put the yellow on her shirt just to mix it up a little bit. I haven't gotten to her skin yet. Pretty much done with her robes. Um, Kind of meh. I don't know. I'm not disappointed, but I feel like I've been sloppy. When I look at the other stuff I painted, I'm like, those look better. But usually, I sometimes I feel like that until I'm all done, and I'm like, oh, actually, that came together at the end. Do you want to do one more question now that we have?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Imperial Buckethead. This is what you've been missing. We've got. I have Star Wars conversation cards for dinner parties, movie marathons, and more. This counts as and more. Buckethead, give me a number between 100 or 125 and 1. Otherwise, I'll just pick one in a couple seconds.
And just
Coming up.
give it time with the delay here, round trip.
Yeah. 56. Okay, here we go. 56. If you had a pod racer of your own, what would it look like? It would probably be
Hmm.
two large engines with like a little cab being towed behind it. um, I think mine would have some sort of roll cage because,
That's a good idea.
I'm a human, and being human means I'm incapable of pod racing, right? Anakin Skywalker, allegedly the only human capable of pod racing. So that puts me at a disadvantage, so I need some help. I would, meaning, I don't know if it's legal or not, but I would want to have like an astromech slot or like a built in
Hmm.
droid, like an astromech dome, even if it's not removable.
Yeah, I think you could do like an offshoot of the rules. Like on a
Ooh,
different planet, we let you have droids so that humans
ooh,
can
ooh,
compete or
ooh, ooh,
something.
ooh, 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 I got it. Now I really want to like make this, see it happen. N1 engines and an enclosed pod. I like that. That sounds great.
Ooh,
What came to
yeah.
my mind after I started thinking about astromech? Basically, take a Y wing, flip it around,
Mm-hmm.
and chop it up a little bit. So big Y wing engines, Y wing cockpit that's inverted or reversed, and that's it. Maybe it doesn't have glass because pod racing, but that might be way bigger than a pod racer. So like scale it down. So it's not made from a Y wing. It's just styled to look like one.
Yeah, I think somehow using Y-wing engines would make a lot of sense. Unless there's like exhaust that you're being hit with.
I don't think that's anyone's like concern, but I probably would have a full helmet or mask so I don't
Yeah,
get
there's a
bugs
lot
in
of
my
dust.
eyes and don't have to breathe dust and stuff. So that'd be part of my
Let's
outfit.
see.
I'd have like a flight suit.
Yeah, I think so. That'd be cool. I think for me, I don't know specifically. Let me think about it. I I think the coolest pod racer in the movie is Sebulba's because those huge engines are so cool, but like I think you need small engines so you can see. Like I think Anakin had the right idea with small
Oh
engines. Like he
yeah.
can actually see what's coming up and not run into it. So I don't know. I think it would have to be something kind of small and sleek, even though it wouldn't look as cool as the huge
I mean,
uh,
some of the
muscle.
design ones that stand out to me is some from the game, and one is like sort of like a wheel that you sit in. So like he's got to look at a screen, like you can't actually see what's in front of you. Another one was like the seat hung underneath the
My
pod.
gosh,
So like you're just like in a lawn chair that's suspended from this thing. I remember one of the ones in the video game was
great.
like that. Don't sound great to me. Do you have Star Wars trivia? I have a lot of Star Wars trivia. I have on my shelf back there. Oh my! I think I have at least three different versions of a Star Wars trivia board game. I think I have two different Trivial Pursuits, a some other trivia game. I might have three or four trivias. Most of them aren't opened because most of them are like, baby mode trivia. We do have, if you look at our YouTube channel after this is over, instead of going to bed, we did we do have a video of us playing Star Wars Trivial Pursuit Black series. That was kind of fun.
The Force Awakens.
Trivia might be
Uh,
fun for painting, except then I'd have to keep pulling new cards and like interrupting my painting process. I like these conversation cards.
yeah,
My pod would probably be red and gray because everything I make is that's customized is red and gray. I'd also have a huge gun that shoots all the other racers, so I win.
yeah. I would need like Mach 5 style little gadgets, like a thing that lets you jump or do an oil slick. Uh, I guess oil slick would not affect a pod racer, so maybe some kind of electric puddle. I don't know.
Like a power
Uh,
coupling.
oh, you know
Speaking
what I would want
speaking
for
of
my engines?
what?
I I want them to be like wing shaped, like they're flat and wide, so you can see
Ooh,
over the top of them, but they're still like big in a different way, and they could be kind of like, I don't know, wing shaped. That'd be kind of cool.
yeah, that sounds
What were you gonna
nice.
say?
I don't remember what I was gonna say. Oh, I was gonna ask if Luminara is wearing lipstick. Yes, she has like black lips.
She's like dark blue, doesn't she? Well, no, dark
Uh,
brown lipstick.
it's like black or gray, maybe like a super dark blue, but
I
this
think, yeah, I think her top lip is brown and her bottom lip is blue.
I
That's what
think
I'm
her
gonna say.
top lip is gray and her bottom lip is black.
Wow.
If you look at the Luminara Unduli Wikipedia page, the headshot they have there, it's pretty clear that you're wrong.
Let me look. Let me look.
Are you glazing the color for Luminara Saber or just doing a contrast over white? Neither. The way I've been doing lightsabers, because I don't tend to like. For Legion, all of my lightsabers are acrylic rods, which doesn't quite work for Shatterpoint because they're so thin. The acrylic rods look a little too chunky. Um, what I've been doing for all of my lightsabers is simply paint it white, then paint it a solid color, and then I slowly like gradient up from that bottom color to a lighter. So this is just blue, slightly lighter blue, up until I just make a straight white line through the middle of it. So it looks like a lightsaber from exactly one angle, and that's it, which is fine with me because there's no good way to paint a lightsaber because you can't paint an accurate lightsaber in real life because of how they look. Because it's always color on the outside, white on the inside. You can only achieve that from one angle or do something a little different. Like it looks cool when I see people do like some sort of gradient from like white at the base and blue at the other end. You know what I mean? It looks like it's a cool effect, but I'm like, well, that's not what lightsabers look like. Some of I'm sometimes I'm tempted to just not even add that like white line down the middle. So for Luminara, I'll just paint it green and then add that little white line down the middle with a little bit of highlighting.
Yeah,
That's
I'd
all.
say I've tried it like a few different ways, and it's just like, it's never really going to look right.
Pro
They kind of look
acryl
good, bad in
transparent
different ways.
colors. Is that pro acryl transparent colors? Is that like speed paint and contrast paint?
I wonder. I mean, I haven't heard of those. Look these up now. I don't think I really know the Pro Acryl brand anyway.
They're way too hip. They can't. That's like how Gen Z say acrylic. You got them acryls. Yeah, I guess now that contrast paint might work really good for that, or like a glaze. I don't have any of the Games Workshop glazes.
This random Reddit thread I found said they're for glazing slash filtering slash etc. Also very
Slash
good for
etc.
feathering as they dry relatively slowly. These people are saying they're not supposed to be like contrast paints, but some people seem to mistake them for that. I mean, whatever you can make them work for, but that's just what this thread said.
Thread.
Not exactly speed paints, it's more of intermediate between speed paints and glazes.
Hmm.
But that could be kind of nice too.
It's like a
Like a
leisurely
slightly
paint.
different tool. A pretty quick paint.
Speed limit paint. Okay, I gotta go real hard with these skin highlights if I want to get it to not be super green, which I don't. I gotta go harder with the highlights.
Monument Hobbies makes them. They blend really well. I mean, that sounds nice. I haven't got enough really into wet blending or glazing or anything like that. But I bet, you could get some really cool effects if you got good at it.
Yeah, I don't do too much wet blending. Sometimes I do. I got real lucky and it turned out good with that Dooku cape, but a lot of times it doesn't turn out at all the way I want. I'm sort of like, oh, I feel like I've maxed out my painting skill. Also, this is stupid. I'm looking at the screen. There's just no. Without the focus, what's the point of. I need to figure this out and get a better focus here. Because I'm like trying to hold it under the camera, but also trying to get close so I can paint her face.
Yeah. It seems tough. Oh gosh, I gotta go to bed though.
Wonder
It
if
was good
there's.
chatting, but I think I will leave you.
Yeah, I think I probably gotta hop off soon too.
What were you gonna say? You wonder?
I wonder if there's an app on my computer that can give me manual control over the focus of my webcam, and also if that app can be recognized as OBS as my camera input, so I could control that. I have to look into that.
I mean, you should be able to. I, I don't know. At least on my computer, if I go into camera, the built-in Windows app,
Mm-hmm.
and then I set manual focus there, and then I switch to OBS, and like do my camera like normal, it'll be fine. Like it'll remember the setting until I've like, I don't know if it's when I restart or what, but it'll remember the setting like if I do something else right after.
Yeah. Okay. Before
But
we head
I
off,
don't know.
you guys have Patreon. Wait, OBS Studios lets you adjust focus. Before I answer your question, I'm using I'm
Whoa.
using Streamlabs. Uh, how do I do that? I'll just have to look that up later.
There must be some built-in settings option when you add the source, right? That lets you
Well,
control it, you would think.
resolution, video format, color range, buffering. Not in like the source thing that I'm seeing. Configure
Hmm.
video, brightness, contrast, sharpness, camera control. Wait. Oh, I found it. I found it. Okay, so I want the focus to be about here. So let's see. Focus. Don't do auto. Aha, look at that.
Yeah.
Now I can stay here. Is that good? That seems like
Uh,
good. What a
yeah,
break.
where you have it set right now, if you haven't adjusted it in the last few seconds, I think looks good. At least if you wanted to do the close-ups like that.
I mean, that's where I probably be holding it.
Because at least once it's fixed, you can like do
Like,
like you're doing, like move it around until it's in focus. You don't have to.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I would tell you about our Patreon because that is a very kind thing to ask. But I feel like you've just supported us enough by telling me that I
Yeah,
for some
seriously.
manual focus control. Um, we do have a Patreon. The link might be on our YouTube channel. It's also be just on jodocast.com. And we also have, I mean, if you are going to be joining our streams, we do have a YouTube membership, which is basically the same thing as a Patreon. It has all the same benefits, except you also get custom emojis on our YouTube channel. And if
Such as
you,
the gonk.
yeah,
Yes.
and I think it's also if you have a Discord account connected with your YouTube account, it'll automatically grant you the roles of like a supporter in our Discord server if you feel like
Mm.
joining the Discord server. But yeah, it's Patreon and YouTube membership are uh, the main ways if you wanted to support us beyond telling me about manual focus. Oh my god, I can't believe I didn't figure that out. Oh, that's so much better. Well, now we'll have that figured out for next time. It's gonna be hard if we keep doing these on Tuesdays after Ahsoka and not talking Ahsoka spoilers.
Yeah, because it's going to be Tuesday every
I
episode
mean,
now.
it could be just spoiler chat. Come here after you watch to paint and talk about the episode. I honestly don't know which is more helpful, Patreon or YouTube. I would assume Patreon takes less of a cut, but I didn't actually look into that. I mean, YouTube membership's probably more
Yeah, I don't know.
fun for you because you can make little conk droids. I honestly don't know. It's probably about the same. I'm trying to think. They have the exact. I made sure that YouTube and Patreon have the exact same like, levels. The only difference would be if YouTube takes more of like a percentage than Patreon does, and I don't know what that is. So it's probably not a big deal. It's probably pretty irrelevant. And it should automatically hook people up on Discord if I set it up right. So it's the only difference would be communication. Because usually we do a lot of the communication through Discord, but we do post on Patreon every now and then. So that, but if I do that, I'll just also make sure to make YouTube posts because there are member only YouTube post options. So I don't know. Up to you. But also, like, you don't have to. It's still, like, it's how long have we been doing this? Years. It's still interesting when people are like, oh, I'll join your Patreon. That's crazy. Imperial Buckethead. Now we can do the streamer thing and shout out
Officially
their
a
name.
member.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it shows up right there in the chat too. That's
Yes.
awesome.
Welcome to. Welcome to Noodle Scooter. That is the level that changes as the longer you're a member, the your your level like your little badge changes. Um,
That's cool.
Kurt, did you ever read Heir to the Empire? Not Heir to the Empire. Sorry, that's a good one. Heir to the Jedi.
Heir to the Jedi. No, I have not.
Maybe I think it might for our 10-year anniversary. We should probably get back to that. So I can let me explain to him real quick before we sign off why he is a noodle scooter, which is sort of a JodoCast thing. Um, Before we were only Star Wars gaming, we were just a regular old Star Wars podcast, and that was back in like 2014 when Heir to the Jedi came out, and we all read that book and discussed it, and we all thought it was horrendous and one of the worst, just a so bad it's good kind of book, like real, like how did this happen? Like why is he writing things like this? And in one scene, Luke Skywalker um, decides to try and use the Force to move something for the very first time. And he's sitting there with this girl he's got the hots for, and they're at a noodle restaurant, and he uses the Force.
It's not Leia. It's not Mara Jade.
It's is her name Nakari? Do I still remember her name? She dies at the end.
So it's between A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back?
Yes.
Okay.
And he uses the Force to move a noodle slightly across the table, and in all caps, she shouts, "You did it, you little noodle scooter." And I think at that moment we all had to, set down the book and like think about our lives. It's just one of the
Who's
best
that
lines.
by?
Kevin
For Denning?
Hearn. I think it's by
Oh.
Kevin Hearn. You did it, you little noodle scooter. And oh, that book. Oh, there's another emoji on our Discord of Chob, the surprised Bith, because in that book there was like some brain drilling parasites that would like hop on your head and like drill in your skull. And they were watching a recording or something, and right before it happened to a guy, he just goes Chob's knob, and then he dies. And we all thought Chob's knob was maybe the greatest expletive ever. Man, I'm getting flashbacks to that
Yeah,
book.
that's a good one.
I've been wanting to reread that sometime and maybe like have like a little Patreon exclusive special of us rereading it and making you and maybe make Bethany read it for the first time and have a little book club because it's hideous and it's very funny. I still remember there was an alien described as speaking as if she had a mouthful of nut butter. It's a book, all right. Anyway, we really appreciate you hanging out with us, Buckethead. We super appreciate your support. We will see you around at our next one, which might be next week. They'll tend to be on Tuesdays, but probably not every Tuesday. So until then, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for everything. Good night, everybody.
Yeah, thanks for joining. See ya.